Now moving to item 32.1, which has to do with our Salinas Regional Soccer Complex. And
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a further revision to our agreement with the City of Salinas. And, we had an agreement with the city. They came to us and asked us to, approve the agreement, even though some of the conditions that we had asked for hadn't been met. We voted to approve the documents that were in the agreement, and now we're being asked to modify it and give up a piece of land that we were promised title to. And that's an important parcel, it's an important change. And I believe this item should be scheduled for a presentation and discussion to include the valuation of the land that you're being asked to forego.
and we'll let our CEO respond to that, and also if City Manager Ray Corpus is here, he's going to be here, or Carl Holm.
Mr. Holm is here, he can come up as well. And just by way of background, Supervisor Parker, you're absolutely right. This was approved by your board. It did go to the City of Salinas. I believe the negotiated disposition of the parcel where currently our temporary homeless shelter is located is in question. And we do have a long-term lease for that, and Mr. Holm can provide additional details.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Carl Holm of the Resource Management Agency. So the through an initial MOU relative to county leasing land to the city for Twin Creeks Golf Course, we received a lease for the property where the public defender's modular is, and we can use it for county purposes. We were using it for parking, then when the public defender needed it, we moved the modular on, and now it's a temporary warming shelter with the intent that that will move away, and then it could go back to being parking, which the county could use for, right now we have a shuttle service for the courts, because we have an agreement with the courts that we have to have parking in this area. That's currently over at the train station. And so once we remove the modulars, the idea was to be able to bring that back and utilize that property. The initial conversation relative to the soccer complex was that there was an agreement with, at least at the staffing level, that the county would receive ownership of that property, title of that property, and the city, we would reserve the area where the city is currently parking the city vehicles. We would reserve that area for them, that they would be able to lease from us and continue that operation. So it would be, in a sense, status quo, other than the change in the title. And that was with a 20-year lease for the soccer complex. Then the city asked to increase that time frame to 50 years, in which case we would receive title to the property without any encumbrance for city parking on that lot, which we could use that entire area for the juror parking. Now, the heaviest time is on Mondays. About 100 parking spaces are needed in the area. That's when they're doing juror selection, and then it tapers off through the week. So that's what we're looking at as far as the use of that. And that's what we brought to the board when we came back. I think it was in August, and then we passed that on to the city. City made the revisions that they would retain title to the property because they want to look at parking for all of the downtown area, including the county campus, the city campus, and how that would work generally. So their proposal back was that they would not change title until we've gotten through all that, because there's potential other use for that property and other ideas for parking, such as a parking structure and behind the county admin building that would serve all of the parking needs, and then that property would no longer be used for parking. The difference, obviously, there is with title, if that property becomes available for other use as a commercial use, there's a value to that. Whoever holds the title would have that value.
Thank you, Mr. Holm. Okay. I wanted to comment just that, as the staff report points out, that this county still has governmental use of that property with the lease. That's not set to expire until 2096. Many of us won't be around in 2096. So that's 99 years under that lease, and it commenced in 1997. But I don't want that to be the holdup today. We voted this several months ago, it went to the city council, it got held up there for a few months, then it came back to us, it got held up a few months. The community is ready to move this long talked about project forward. It's been in the talks for over 10 years now, to bring 9 new soccer fields adjacent to the existing soccer fields off Constitution Boulevard. And in light of the homicides of our young people, the murders, our community shouldn't have to wait for more because of a bureaucratic question that's out there. There's some key community leaders in agriculture and philanthropy that are already at the table. They have grants that are moving forward, trying to draw down those dollars to make this project realized after many years of talking and getting through EIRs and the lawsuits. This is going to be a key year, 2018, to do that. And we have a Parks Bond, Prop 68, that's on the ballot on June 5th. We hope that we can draw down money for that for this project. But there's some other possibilities out there. So I know the regional sports authority, that nonprofit board, they're ready to move forward and start raising money, start bringing the community together to really champion this regional soccer complex here in the heart of Salinas. I'll take it for public comments from the public, and then we'll bring this back for a motion. Any members of the public would like to speak on this? Thank you, Dr. Diaz-Infante, for joining us today.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Supervisors, Alfred Diaz-Infante. I'm a board member of the Salinas Regional Sports Authority, and I want to echo the comments that Supervisor Alejo made. We are definitely re-energized at the board of SRSA. I've been talking and some really serious conversations with the foundations that want to invest in this development for the reasons that Supervisor Alejo mentioned. So hopefully you will support this so that this development will move forward. Thank you.
Any other members of the public?
You're quick, that's why I gotta go quick.
My name is Sonny Ben, I'm the Vice President for Monterey Bay United Soccer Club. And also my son is 12, he's been with the San Jose Earthquake since he was 6 years old. It's one of the things where he's a pride joy of Salinas. Enrique, with San Jose State. It's one of the things where we're bringing Liverpool Football Academy down to Salinas within the next year or two. It's one of the things where he's going to England next year to Liverpool to represent Salinas in his club. So it's one of the things where I want to say thank you guys for pushing this project forward, and hopefully we can get this done soon.
Thank you very much, sir, for your comments. Mr. White.
I am West White, Salinas resident. I guess I have a little bit of concern too with this amendment. It sounds like the city's going to come out a little bit more on top, and it seems, well, the pressure of, make it happen. But it still concerns me that there's this final amendment thing. I'd say, but I think that's a valid argument, and it may need to be pursued. I don't know if you should not vote yes on this. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, I'll give this back for a motion. I'd like to move that we approve this proposal. Second. Seconded.
Mr. Chair, if I could just comment on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank you for those comments. I think that's a good assessment. I've been working on this for many, many years. This is certainly one of the most needed projects in terms of recreation for an area that needs this type of activity. We've been working with Alfred back in the 90s, and the soccer, even the community just had a dream. We allowed those 10 to go in. We need to get this project completed, hopefully sooner rather than later. And I think the fact that we retain the use of the parking lot across LSL is good, and we also retain the fee title for the soccer field complex. So it's good for the community, so I don't want to get bogged down on bureaucratic issues here.
Yes, Supervisor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I supported the soccer complex from the beginning, really wanting to make sure that we had something not only regionally, but for the local kids to be able to play soccer. And the last time this came to us, we were asked to expand the lease period by a significant amount with 2 renewals, also greatly expanded periods of time. And in exchange for that, we were being offered title to a piece of land. Having a long-term lease is a good thing, but having title to the land is a different situation that I think was warranted for how much the county was making available to the community. And it disturbs me that we were asked to enter into an agreement, which we then did, expanding what we were offering, and then then we're told, oh no, now we're going to take away from the agreement so you can give more, and now we're going to offer you less in exchange. I just think that's a bad situation and should not be encouraged, and if we're going to do it, we should understand the value of what we're giving up. So I support the soccer complex, but I don't support this kind of chipping away at an agreement that we entered into.
Thank you, Supervisor Phillips.
I just think we got to move forward on it, and it's a great project, things that we need for the community, and it also will bring in economic growth for us, so I support it.
Thank you. And my last comments would be just like, for me, this is an example, as a new county supervisor, an example of how local government sometimes moves very slow, even on very good projects, even on projects that have been deliberated for years. Even then, there's a lot of red tape for projects where the community and its leaders are eager to raise money. This is going to be one of those private-public partnerships where outside money, philanthropy, foundations are going to help pay the majority of this cost. And in agreement with Salinas, we're also just giving a lease. We're not giving title to the 42 acres. Salinas has a lease for joint partnership between the city and the county to create 9 new soccer fields. Everyone in Salinas knows there's a shortage of fields. Soccer teams, I think it's a sad thing when soccer fields are competing for just space to go play a game, whether you're a young child, a teenager, or an adult. That shouldn't have to be the challenge in our communities, that we have a shortage of soccer fields, something that is so positive. That is, we talk a lot about prevention and intervention. There's nothing more powerful than stopping a bullet, like putting a young person to play after school, exercise, bring out their parents, bring out their grandparents, their siblings to enjoy the outdoors over a good game of sports. The other people I wanted to mention that are involved, COPA, Building Healthy Communities, the California Endowment is very interested. There's a lot of excitement about this. I think it's going to be a landmark year for the regional soccer complex here in Salinas. And to end, I just want to say that a few weeks ago I attended the funeral of 14-year-old Enrique Sosa. And I saw the young people, a lot of young high school students from Everett Alvarez. A young 14-year-old who was in the ROTC program, and he was shot to death as he was walking home from a friend's house. When I sat there at that funeral, seeing his mom crying, and it was hard to look a mom in their eyes, their dad in the eyes, and extend your hand, because you fall short of trying to find the right words to share with them when they lost their youngest child. But for me, when I sat there, I said that was a motivation, that we need to do more of these kind of activities, soccer fields, more parks, because we have a shortage here in this community, but we have an overabundance of violence and gun violence in our community. And the people who are paying the price are our young people. So if there's anything that our community, that Salinas could rally behind, 2018 is making sure we get this project off the ground, where we raise the money, that we rally all our families and community behind it. And I'm really excited. It's going to get done. As the Sports Authority Board mentioned the other day at our meeting, this is going to get done. There's a commitment to that. And I hope that we have a unanimous vote on this today. With that said, all those in favor? Aye. All those against? No. It was 3-2. 3-1. Thank you very much. Motion carries.